Hey, Dean, how are you?
I am good. Kevin, so let folks know a little bit about you, and then I have a hypothetical scenario I want to throw at you.
Sounds good. Kevin Johnston. My company's name is Investly, fractional CMO consulting for financial services,
Hmm.
private equity, and venture capital.
All right. So here's my scenario, and we'll stick with it for like about 3 questions. Uh, Today is day one of a brand new 1 year long engagement. The client is new, everything is new. Okay. What are you going to try to get accomplished, or what problems do you like to go hunting for? Because sometimes the clients don't even know these problems are going to be there, but you know they're going to be there because you've done this enough, right? What do you go looking for or try to get done in the first 3 months?
First 3 months of a year-long engagement
Yep.
is I'm a part of their C-suite. I am
Right.
on that team. I'm building trust and I'm building relationships, and I want to know, the stakeholders in that C-suite across the company and even a level deeper. So in that first 90 days, it's relationship building. So I build trust to allow them to kind of get comfortable in what they don't know and what they want to know and what they need to know. And what I do is go through, uh, you know, in these discovery kind of onboarding session of these first 90 days, really get an understanding of this company, what their goals are, what they need to be hitting. And with my approach, so I look at brand experience, client experience, and culture and product experience if they have a product.
Okay.
I go through that uh, through my process of understanding who they are. By the end of the 90 days, we'll have a marketing strategy plan, timeline of how we're going to execute against this stuff, a budget, and if we're capable of doing it in house. I've got outside vendors, or if they have outside vendors, we
Right.
bring them together to orchestrate all of that.
All right. So sticking with the scenario, I am the CEO at the client company. Okay. And it's day one, and very unusually in this day and age, we're both on site. And so we're sitting at some little like rickety table in the break room, right? Because nobody pays much attention to the quality of the furniture in an employee break room. And I'm sitting across from you and I'm saying, so here's my situation, Kevin. I haven't worked with very many or any CMOs of any stripe. And you've worked with way more CEOs than I've worked CMOs. So given that disparity, as CEO, what would you tell Dean to either do or not do or stop doing to make sure that the company gets maximum value out of what we're spending on you for the next year?
Yeah, great question. The number one thing is trust. We have to trust one another. In order for you to trust me and me to trust you, we need to build up transparency. With that transparency, we're going to feel a little vulnerable. Dean, you're going to feel vulnerable in the
Mm-hmm.
areas that, and as a CEO, you want to have a firm grip and understanding across every department and the vision of the company. Um, we have to have that trust and transparency, and I need you to have a clear vision so that I can execute against that. And so, with that clear vision that you have, in my experience across the marketing, creative, uh, data, production, whichever part of marketing that we need to bring forward and execute against, I need to have that clear vision from you so
Right.
we have a clear runway.
Okay. So I'm still CEO. And so I'm talking to you and I'm saying, Kevin, so we've had and we have people working in marketing. All right. There's junior people, there's mid level people, there's been supervision, there's been management, even. There's been no leadership level people in marketing up until you. Right. So I'm looking at this team right now on your day one. I'm trying to think about what they're going to be like on your last day, right? And from any way you want to approach it, mix, staffing, mix of inside and outside, mix of agency versus contractor versus whatever, skill sets, head count, whatever. Like, how is that team going to be different or ideally better 12 months from now compared to where they are today?
Yeah, I love this question. Usually the case, and my clients are about 50-50. Some have a
Mhm.
marketing team in place. The other half are spread so thin, they have operations folks trying to do marketing. So, what I bring to a marketing team with my experience are fresh ideas and new processes to apply to this team. Uh, and one of the things that I love to double down on is really get to know the team members, understand their strengths and weaknesses. So on the back end, when I'm meeting with the C-suite or the operations leaders, we know who are the right people in the right spot,
Right.
right butts, right seats, and so that allows me to say, hey, we need some outside vendors to come kind of fill this gap. And in that short term, if we're building a team, I'm identifying who are the leaders in that marketing team that can help either step up, execute the plan and strategy that we have set in place for the company. So when my life cycle ends, somebody's there capable to carry it on, or we identify, it's a new hire that the C-suite needs to kind of go after. And what I love to do is when I'm building out a marketing organization or bringing process to it,
Hmm.
uh, it's looking at every angle. And then the marketing ecosystem is huge, as we know. And so being able to cover off based on the company vision, building out the right ecosystem with the right people or the right vendors, and making sure there's process. You need to create efficiencies with this team that you have in place, so you're able to execute quickly and get all of these goals accomplished that we've laid out in the marketing strategy and plan for the company.
Okay. All right. So, leaving aside our hypothetical for a bit, I've got a couple of fill in the blank questions. The best part for me of these questions is that my part is super, super easy. The downside is your part is quite expansive and can be quite difficult. But hey, you agree to show up. So here we go. First one. Many clients just don't understand.
The depth and breadth of marketing.
Yeah.
So with that there's content marketing, there's the marketing automation, there is uh, brand strategy, the voice, tone of voice, are the brand guidelines built out? Are the content that we're creating for channels, do they look and feel and fit that channel? Are we hitting the right target market? Are we doing growth marketing? There's so many areas of marketing uh, that we help kind of break down and identify when I start working with a client. And that's the fun part and the overwhelming part when clients start to realize, all right, this is granular. And hopefully they feel confident that they have a fractional CMO that can help orchestrate
Right.
and teams to build that out.
Okay. Here's another fill in the blank. Oh, three people that you've worked with over your career or peers or you've known them, right? And they were CMOs at various companies, right? Coincidentally, they've gone ahead independently and decided, you know what? Fractional. That's what either they chose to exit or they were invited not to return to work. Either way, they're now, as of last week, fractional CMOs, right? Independent of each other, but three little fractional CMO companies. Okay. And they're looking to you for advice because, you've sort of like, as my mom would have said, you got the spots knocked off you at this point, right? New fractional CMOs need to understand what?
They need to become salespeople.
Hmm.
They need to sell themselves. They need to educate prospects. They set up their sales funnels. They have to start marketing themselves, and it's easy, going out and marketing their company that they work for. But when it comes to being your own fractional, your own company, it's a tremendous amount of education and getting out there and being confident in what you do.
I can tell you that talking to, I don't know, maybe 300 plus fractional CMOs in a year, like I do, um, uh, I want to be super polite and gentle on these people who. Okay, if I was to split them into two groups, right, there are the ones who understand that they are a marketing expert, but their business is not a marketing driven business. And then there are the ones who understand that they are a marketing expert, but their business is a sales led business. It's a high touch selling model, right? And the ones who think that they can market their way into success as a fractional CMO, ironically, they're virtually always wrong, right? And I explained to them, like, because we're talking about, a lot of them are my clients, that like, I'm in a marketing business. You're not in a marketing business.
Right.
I sell three things. They have fixed prices. I can market the hell out of them over and over and over. They're service based, but they're productized services, and I'll do that, right? But every single engagement you have is bespoke, right? The duration, cost, like, the scope of the projects, what you're on the hook for. This client has special needs. Like, every single client is at least slightly different. And in that
Yeah.
situation, you're in a sales business, not a marketing business where you're just, rinse and repeat all the time. And the ones who resist that and think they can, blog their way into fractional CMO success, I mean, God bless. Fill your boots. I hope it works for you. But
Right.
the ones who twig on early that this is about me selling me
Yeah.
and not about me convincing a lot of people to just look in my direction, right?
Yeah.
Those people, like, eat better sooner, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that you say that. This is a relationship business.
Yeah.
You need to build trust with, that C-suite or that CEO or whoever it is. Uh, I, People have a pretty good radar as far as when they're getting, bullshit. And so, in order to back yourself up, it's a relationship business, and you have to be authentic, and you have to
Um,
build trust.
no, I was explaining to one firm. Uh, uh, he keeps coming back to me just for kind of advice and stuff. And I say, you're in a high touch selling business, and you know this because you're networking all over the place. You keep trying to, like, spend money on the next marketing trick that's gonna, like, I said, it's a waste of money because you're not in that kind of business. And also, God forbid you should ever spend money and, like, become successful in that area. You'll literally grow yourself into bankruptcy. Right? You will not be able to
Yeah,
even talk to all the prospects that you have. Never mind get any work done for the people who are already paying you. I said, like, it would be successful in a marketing endeavor when you're in a high touch selling business is terrible idea. Don't do
right.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's why
okay.
it's important to know
Yeah.
the team around you. Getting to know that sales lead, getting to know, the HR, getting a
Mhm.
full understanding of the culture. And that's one of the things when I go through the brand experience onboarding, client experience onboarding, whether it's product or culture, you need to understand that culture, and it has to be ingrained into that product or service that you're selling. And if you're not able to kind of, as a fractional CMO, it's great because you can be kind of that target audience that comes in with the mindset like, are you doing this right? Are you hitting X, Y, and Z for the target market? And are you able to execute it successfully? Having awareness and understanding across all those different areas is has to be key for the deliverable to be successful for those company goals and objectives.
Okay. Yep, I agree. Um, okay. So another hypothetical, bit Star Trekky, this one, right?
Okay.
Something has happened in the timeline, and besides you, there's now a 25-year-old version of you here this year. And that dude came to you and said, "All right, man, like, you're a little, you've been in the race a bit longer. Like, what advice would you give 25-year-old you starting out today in marketing? What do they need to keep an eye on? What can they safely ignore? What should they really try to, like, build a particular value or skill set in?"
Yeah, I don't be afraid to, let people know where you don't have that skill set. And with that, have a group of vendors or people that you trust that are skilled in that area,
Mm-hmm.
and be transparent with your client. Don't try to make stuff up and make them think that you've got it covered. This fractional space, especially fractional CMO space, there are so many opportunities and hub and spokes of a fractional CMO that you need to be aware of what you're capable of and where you have backup to come fill that in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that goes back to the networking, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Everyone like that basically needs a Rolodex of technicians or specialists
yeah,
that fill in, this project, I need this person. This project, I don't, but I need this other person I know, kind of thing, or
yeah,
agency that I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
And the great thing about a fractional is, you know, common stakes or what you should be looking for in a fractional CMO is their experience and across different industries. What experience do they bring to the table? And
Yeah.
usually with that, in my case, I have ad agency experience, I have production experience, marketing experience. All that experience over, 15, 20 years has a huge Rolodex of data analysts and brand strategists
Hmm.
and copywriters that have written Super Bowl spots and content writers that understand compliance and are able to
Hmm.
execute against on efficient timelines without much back and forth, creating lower budgets or lower costs by the end of the month.
Yeah. Okay. So one more fill in the blank question before we wind down. Um, Not even a fill in the blank question. What do most clients, in your experience, what do most clients not understand about talking to their market? What do you wish they understood better? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the best way for companies to approach their market, well, this is one take,
Mm-hmm.
the diversity of their staff.
Mm.
If their staff, if the people they're hiring to execute against these, you know, content channels, for example, they need to live and breathe and truly understand who their target audience is.
Right.
And with that, create, you know, maybe not the most sophisticated looking piece of content, but content that resonates with that end target user. What are they going to react to? What are they going to respond to? What are they going to click on? Uh, you know this just as well as I do. You know, what are the challenges that you have uh, when hitting a target audience, or how many rounds or iterations do you
Right.
go through to test the right message, the right content?
Yeah. It's always I always know that there's a little bit of a reset needed when I show up to my first ever client meeting and they say, "Hey, Dean, here's a list of things we want to say. We want you to figure out the best way to say them." And I say, those are important stages. Those are not the first stages. The
Right.
first stages is to figure out what this stranger that you're trying to talk to will even pay attention to or is interested in.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like start inside the company and try to push out, right? Start outside the company and try to pull them in. I said
Yeah.
it's way, way, way easier to get someone's attention if you talk to them about them than it is to make them sit still while you talk about yourself. Making
Yeah.
someone sit still who doesn't know you or care about you, so that you can talk about yourself, is extremely difficult and very expensive at
Right.
scale.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
doubling
much
down
easier to
on,
start and basically start on the outside, or start upstream and work backwards.
right, right. And
Yeah.
truly diving into building out your, target market personas and really
Yes.
understand putting yourself in their shoes, and then building around that.
Yep.
Somebody that, you know, might be a target market for Instagram or TikTok isn't going to be on Facebook or
No.
LinkedIn, to say the
Yeah.
least. So understanding that clientele is huge.
And understanding the media, I guess, that you're communicating in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was writing scripts for video ads last week. Not like the kind that's going to go on TV or something, but the kind that's going to go on a website, or and it's like we've all seen these B2B corporate kind of like
Right.
2-minute promo, right? And the product manager, who should know better, product manager kept trying to put in these stuff in as many buzzwords as possible,
Oh, yeah.
and long, complicated sentences. And I said, like, that is not, people listen at about a 4th grade reading level, and they're not going to like work to understand what you're trying to say. They're just going to go away.
Right.
Right. Where I could say, I said, maybe we could say that in print somewhere. We can't say it when all they're getting is the audio. But,
Yeah.
this is the fun
Classic.
part of marketing. It's like incredibly diverse, every kind of thing. Okay. So thanks so much for being here. This is fantastic. Who should be reaching out to you these days, and how should they try to get to you?
Yeah. The best partners are honestly visionary leaders.
No?
I would love to, you know, any visionary leader across the financial services, even outside financial services. I always take it outside of financial services to flex and test and grow and innovate on. But people can find me at investly.io or Kevin at investly.io.
All right. And we've only just started releasing the audio version of this podcast. And it's doing really well. But for the folks who are just listening, it's invstly.co for Investly. There's no E in Investly. Basically, it's spelled exactly the way you'd think Investly is spelled, but no E, because they're more like, cutting edge, fun naming kind of thing. That's the way it goes.
That's right.
Yeah, they thought it through. Okay, Kevin, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. This was fantastic.
Dean,
You did
thank you
really
so
good
much.
on the questions, by the way. Like,
This was
especially the
great.
open-ended blank ones. People like, ooh. So good job.
I appreciate it.
And thanks for watching. You're almost certainly watching this as a clip, but if you see this one, thanks for watching. There are hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds more. You should check them out.